All right, back down to Petty Brothers, Timmy Petty, Mark Petty, and Richie Petty. We've had a lot of people that's been giving us some good comments through the weeks, and people's actually sending some good gifts to us. And so we're going to do a little shout out to some folks that stopped by and visited with us, because we like visiting with the people and talking to them and hearing what you think. But Mark Batson brought us this sign, and I guess what you say is a friend from Spartanburg made this for us.
Yep, that's one of his buddies.
Come by the museum and visit with us. So thank you for the sign. We love it.
Yeah.
And so keep sending us stuff like that. We love looking at stuff. And Timmy had a friend stop by yesterday.
Well, all of our friends.
Well, yeah, but I was saying Timmy's worked with them.
Earl Allman makes this sauce, Merle's Inlet Kindly Hot Sauce, barbecue, and it's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Tastes a little bit of a spicy.
We got to go back to Spartanburg for a second. We're putting out a rest in peace to Greg Moore, who died last week, whatever.
Yeah, good
anyway,
guy. Good guy.
Sorry to hear that.
Good friend of the family.
Yeah, but anyway, appreciate all the comments and everything, and all the gifts and things. Keep sending it in. We like it. So anyway,
they're awesome.
We talked about doing the Timmy on some episodes, some restorations and things. So we're going to get into some projects that we've got into around the shop here, and we've had some requests to go into the '74 Dodge and some things like that. We got stuff coming on that because we're in the middle of putting that thing together right now. So we're going to do a whole episode coming in the future. So be patient, that's coming. And we've had a lot of stuff come through here, and Timmy's going to run through some things. We're going to discuss some projects we've had.
Well, and the reason why we do this, it sort of gives back to and so we can sort of relive some of these moments and just sort of see how our people struggled with some of this stuff. And it's definitely a struggle sometimes, but we're just going to go through a few things and maybe throw a few pictures that we've been a part of replicating. And one is the obviously we talked about Oldsmobile last week, and we did the J2 engine package. Moving on, we did a 79 500 winter.
Let's go back to the J2 thing.
Sorry.
No, I was going to ask you a question.
I'm probably just going to.
Well, that's fine. I'm going to ask you a question about it. Did you have all the parts?
No.
Or did you have to search them out?
And actually, we sort of had a hodgepodge because they're not just readily available.
Oh, sure.
And so the intake, manifold, and the carburetors I bought off of eBay sometime along.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you get the original block from?
Actually, up in I guess Taylorsville, North Carolina, up the Chapman's garage, and I bought a '59 model engine. But the J2 was actually 57, 58, so I had to make adapter plates for it all.
Was that the one you had to chisel the pistons out?
Yes. I
remember you.
I don't know if we got any pictures of that, but it was quite the undertaking.
When you went back together with it, now, did you go back with original road car pistons, or did you go?
I bought. You can buy kits for these older '50s model cars from different places, but they still sell parts for them. Well, they did. That's pre-COVID.
Well, that's the problem with things, is not actually doing the work, is finding it, because it's.
Oh yeah, parts and the pieces and any of these cars that we've been involved with, it's cubic time to do them.
Well, and anybody that's ever done any kind of restoration work knows your pains.
Yeah.
Well, and replications, we've done several. That we've been involved with those. So I was going through the list.
The internet's made that easier, though, hasn't it?
A little, but still, you gotta get your hands on the right stuff.
Yeah.
Back in the day when we were doing restoration stuff and still racing, but Daddy had a go-to guy down there on the eastern part of the side of the state, Billy West.
Yeah.
He had all this Chrysler stuff.
Yeah.
And back in 1987, 88, we did a restoration Hemi.
Well, y'all did two of them, didn't you?
Yeah, one for the museum, and then we did one for.
And you actually dug stuff from around our junkyard.
Here, and what we couldn't find, we'd get on the phone with Billy and say, "Billy, I need this." And if he didn't have it, he knew who had it.
That's right.
So,
well, he was definitely connected with all the Chrysler guys.
It was always a joy to go down there to Billy's and just walk around his barns and things, because oh my goodness, he had some stuff. But Billy, he died several years ago, and we lost that connection. So,
well, actually, when we did the 1970 426, we bought parts from Billy to do it. Daddy, and did you go down there with us that day?
Yeah, with Jackie was still running.
So we went down there and bought rocker arm assemblies, valve covers, just all kinds of pieces that we didn't have left over. And also, we had done the 64 replica, which that guy sent a core engine in here, and we did it. So we've done the 64. Or actually, we haven't started on the 54 yet. We've got plans to do 54.
We're still trying to search for parts.
So 54, 64, 74, and we're working on the 74 now.
Right.
The 74 500 winner.
And that's going back with a complete Hemi that was original Petty Hemi that you redone.
Yeah, dug out of Huntsville, Alabama, of all places. But yeah. Yeah, keep going.
No, I was going to ask you one more question on that Oldsmobile. When you did that, did you dyno that? Did you get any numbers on that?
I don't think we ever run it.
You never get a power run?
No.
Just
they were wanting it, and what happened was they ended up getting the car that Daddy and Uncle Richard drove to school that actually run the beach course in the modifieds. We had a picture.
It's right behind you.
We had it the other week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that engine, or that style engine, was in that car.
Yeah.
That 37 Chevrolet, right?
Yeah, I didn't remember if you ever did the power run on it, so that's kind of
no, and I probably should have, but I mean, a lot of times.
What kind of power would them have in today? What'd you say the other day?
I don't know, probably a horsepower per cubic inch, so 370, 80 horsepower.
I was just curious because
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. All right, continue on, my friend.
All right, so we've also been a part of the 71, which was the first downsize small cubic inch engine, the 305, that Rossi had run in 71 when they was trying to get rid of the wing cars, Aero Wars and all that. So I actually did one of those. We did a 71-ish, 2-ish wedge-headed motor that came from Billy West shop, and Daddy had tried to buy that same engine that day, and it was just more money than he could even think about spending.
Oh, for what it was, because he knew what we went out of here.
But I had a customer, somebody had ended up buying it from down there, and I did it, and I think he's going to put it either in a Fred Lorenzen car that Aaron Dudley's working on, or the Paula Murphy had run that same engine in the speed record at Talladega.
But you know the neat thing about that being down there with Daddy that day was just looking over that engine, because
he was telling me stuff I didn't have no clue about,
and I still remember it. It was a good day.
Y'all didn't let me go.
Okay. I don't know where you got that day.
It was
out in left field.
Really?
It was like a day after Christmas or something. They was on the way out, and I just happened to jump in the car and go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also,
missed it.
So for some reason I've been stuck on the 4 decades. So 54, 64, 70, and 84. I've also done a Piedmont car engine that they won the 84 championship, and did the engine, and did a little bit to the car, but not a whole lot. But
now the 40 car, did you rebuild the engine in that?
Yeah, and then for some reason there was some confusion on what car it was. It got changed over to the 43.
But you did.
But still, we did it as the 40 when I was.
And that car.
That was when I got burned up that year.
That car was set up there at the Hall of Fame when Daddy was inducted.
Yes.
So that was kind of neat.
And Winston Kelly had no idea that I'd even done the engine on it.
That's what
so we opened the hood and had a photo op with me and Daddy. And I mean,
awesome.
that's, like you said, that's the sort of proud moments that you was involved with.
And it's things at the time is kind of neat, but now we've lost people like that. It really means a lot more to your heart, don't it?
It absolutely does. And that's what I say, that's sort of why we stayed in operation down here, is to do these replications and restorations. So some of it's the real McCoy, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And we try to do it as accurate. And I'd say, for the most part, I'd give myself a 75, 80, sometimes 90% grade on real stuff, because we still have real stuff laying around here.
Well, what's neat for me is to see these restorations and things come in, and how hard it is to track down parts. But this is how they raced back in the 70s.
Well, they ended up having to make a lot of their stuff.
Right, especially when
We've talked about that,
when they went from the big blocks to the small blocks. It wasn't just you get on the phone and order parts. You had to go search for these parts and have people around the country that you could call on them mark.
Digging through junkyards
and that wedge headed motor was actually what the 74 car would have won with.
Right.
And then right after that, you had the first gas crunch that I remember. Remember? Y'all don't remember.
I remember a little bit.
But that's what ushered in the small blocks from here till now. You know, the 358 cubic inch area, but you know that going back to that 305, that thing kind of done what they didn't even know it would do. You know, it ran with the big block stuff
Right.
because of the
But it had a
aero
weight,
advantage.
and they had a weight that they had a weight.
Right, and they wasn't dragging the weight, and
Right.
blah blah blah. And people's asked me the numbers, and I have no idea.
Right.
I mean, it may be in the rule book somewhere from back in
Well, it
the day.
is, but I don't know.
Yeah. So what else we
I
got?
don't know. You got a list there. Let's hear it.
Well, we've kind of blowed through the list already, but no, a lot of these things that we do, still do today. We try to stay, like you said, do it and prepare these cars and engines the way we remembered it happening. So we're sort of, not vicariously, but we're reliving some moments, and that's kind of what keeps me going.
Well, some of those early ones you did, we're like everybody else in the world.
Did not document.
We didn't do a good enough job of taking pictures or filming, but as we go forward and work on projects, we'll have Ramsey
Well, we've learned
filming.
through the past to take more pictures because
Yep.
when we start looking for things, you can't find it, like you said. So now we've learned a little bit, but like the younger crowd now teaching us about this video stuff. So maybe we'll have a little better documentation.
Perspective,
for it,
And going back to the Earl Allman deal, we've had several people on our comments and sent us messages to get Earl, Herman, and Keith, the Allman Brothers Band, down here for an interview. And this is an invite. And I've asked you all, so you need to come on down.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw this out there right now. Ramsey's been helping us a lot.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And he's been
Almost forgot.
he's without him we wouldn't have this operation.
Would have never had this show.
That's right.
So he's having to work his regular job and then have to come in here and do some things. But he's been working with this new financial group. So let's give a shout out to Ramsey. Ramsey, thank you. And hey, check him out on there right here. And like and subscribe and leave us some comments.
Thank you.